this may seem to be an issue for the church, but really it has huge political implications that could prove very detrimental to already strained relations between Russia and some former Soviet republics. So where do you expect to see the most damaging consequences?
Absolutely. First, it will have direct consequences for Ukraine, where the decision of the Constantinople Patriarchate is expected to lead the way towards formation of an independent Ukrainian Orthodox Church, which would be equal to other Orthodox churches which exist in other countries, such as Bulgaria, Romania, or Serbia. Russia is extremely unhappy about this development because ultimately the independence of the Ukrainian church would lead to a continued erosion of cultural and political influence of Moscow in Ukraine, and will take Ukraine away from the Russian influence. However, there is also a secondary element here with the erupting split in the Orthodox communion. Churches, other churches, Orthodox churches, will now have to decide who they're going to support in this situation, whether they're going to side with the Russian Orthodox Church in Moscow or with the Ecumenical Patriarchate in Constantinople. And this will have an impact also on political relations between Russia and other Orthodox countries such as Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece, or Georgia.
Right, and there are even, concerns that this could really spur religious tension that could ignite problems even in the Balkans.
I don't think that the Baltics will be a focus of any sectarian. The Balkans. Potentially, but again, it will be more on the policy side. I don't think it will lead to any protest or civil unrest about whichever church supports Constantinople or Moscow in this dispute. From the point of view of developments on the ground, the biggest civil unrest risks from this situation will be in Ukraine, where we expect that there will be some disputes over control and ownership of religious assets such as monasteries or churches. And now there is quite likely that there will be scuffles and fights over who controls what, including some historic churches and monasteries in Kiev and other major cities in Ukraine.
Okay. Is there, do you think, any organizational body or person that could de-escalate this, or will tensions only increase as a result?
The situation has a pathways for de-escalation where eventually a Ukrainian independent Orthodox Church would be recognized and acknowledged as such by all other existing Orthodox churches. We have seen disputes over church independence in the past. 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, there were big disputes about independence of Bulgarian church, for instance, and there have been also disputes over, say, where Estonian Autonomous Orthodox Church belongs, whether it's part of the Russian Orthodox Church or the Constantinople Church. And this dispute is relatively recent. It was in the 1990s. Over time, these differences tend to be settled, and so I think that eventually there would be compromises and there would be agreements. But in the short term, of course, there is an opportunity for splits and opportunity for particularly civil unrest situations in Ukraine.
Okay, Alex Kokcharov, thanks so much for joining us there from London.